Well, the periodic nature of our trigonometric functions leads us to this algebraic idea. Now, we know that the periodic nature is that we can take the sign, for example, of numbers that wrap around our unit circle, and that once we get back to 2 pi, once we go all the way around this distance of 2 pi, then the values for the sign of those real numbers will begin to repeat. Okay, now with that in mind, we can say this then, that the sign of a real number t is equal to the sign of that real number plus 2 pi, or even minus 2 pi. You see, for whatever value t is, if we add 2 pi, we're just going all the way around the circle again, and we end up at the same spot. If we subtract 2 pi, we end up at the same spot. Well, we could add or subtract another 2 pi, and another, and another, and another, and end up at the same spot. So indeed, we could say that the sign of t is equal to the sign of t plus n times 2 pi, where n is an integer. Now that integer, can be either positive or negative, so we can either be adding or subtracting units of 2 pi here. Now that kind of helps us to evaluate in situations like this. We have the sign here of 5 pi. Well, I know that this is the sign of 5 pi plus or minus any number of 2 pi units. So I can say this is the same thing then as the sign of 5 pi. Let's take away 2 pi units. That is, let's take away 4 pi. You see, 5 pi minus 4 pi, oh, that's simply 1 pi or pi. Now the sign of pi. Whoa, I know something about the sign of pi. I know that a distance of pi, you see, is a distance around to this point. And, oh, the coordinates of that point are -1, 0. And I know that the sign of a real number is equal to the y component, and so this becomes simply 0. And in a similar way, sign of this value, well, let's think of it like this. It's the sign of, now I'm going to separate the notion of the coefficient with the pi, so it's -7 over 2 pi. That's the way I want to think about it. And 7 over 2, well, let's see, as a mixed number, I might be able to see things a little bit easier. So it's -2 and a 7 goes 3 with 1 left over. So this is -3.5 pi. Well, I can add units of 2 pi, or subtract if I want to. I think I want to add units of 2 pi here, maybe a couple of them. So this is the same as the sign of -3.5 pi plus 4 pi. You see, and -3.5 plus 4, oh, that's a half a pi. You see, or pi over 2. So this is really the sign, then, of pi over 2. Now, what is that? Well, I know something about that, too. That's one of those important points along the curve or along the circle. If I'm thinking about the circle like this, and this is pi, then this is pi over 2. And if it's a unit circle, then the coordinates of that point are, let's see, 0, 1. And when I'm talking about sign, I'm talking about the y component, so the sign of pi over 2 is equal to 1.